I will now call the March 18, 2013 Blue Springs City Council meeting to order. If you would stand, observe a moment of silence, and then I will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. I want to welcome you in attendance, as well as those that might be watching on Cable TV 7, to tonight's City Council meeting. The next item is the consent agenda. Are there items that need to be pulled? If not, I'll accept a motion for approval.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Corbell?
Aye.
Councilman Levesey?
Aye.
Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Bowerman?
Aye.
Next, we have a presentation on the Blue Springs School District, April 2nd, 2013, no tax increase bond issue. We have Dr. Kinder, President of the School Board, Dale Walkup, and School Board Member Rhonda Gilstrap here with us this evening. So welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate that. Appreciate the invitation this evening. We know you have a busy schedule tonight, so we've tried to maybe shorten our normal presentation down just a little bit. And we're going to start here with our theme. We always have a theme every time we go out for a bond presentation. This year it's securing our future, protecting our most valuable assets. And as we go through this, I think you'll understand that safety and security is a big part of this issue. Our Citizen Advisory Committee has been around now for over 4 decades. Some of you have been members of that over the years. Some of you are still members of that, and you know that that's a great group that comes together and discusses issues. We actually were going to come forward with a bond issue similar to this next February 2014, but as you know, as a result of what happened at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut, our Board of Education felt it was important for us to bring it before our Citizens Advisory Committee earlier than that. We met with that group in January. We had overwhelming support that evening. Had over 200 members who showed up, which is one of the largest turnouts we've ever had out at Moreland Ridge Middle School, and just had a great discussion that night. As the mayor said, it is a no tax increase bond issue, $20 million. We're voting April 2nd, which is new to us. As most of you know, we usually go in February. We haven't done an April election in almost 40 years. I think 1975 was the last time we did an April election. Other than that, we've done February. Or one time we did October, because October used to be allowed to be a date for elections. Our projects, as you can see, again, 14 million of those are in the safety and security area. We have 6 million will be other facility improvements. As we go through this, I think you'll be able to tell quite quickly that the emphasis is in the safety and security area. First thing we're going to do is we currently have 7 elementary buildings that do not have secure entrances during the day. In other words, if you think about Franklin Smith Elementary as an example, when you come in the main doors of Franklin Smith, you come right into a hallway. You do not have any access through the office to get into the building during the school day. We want to reconfigure those 7 elementary entrances, force people to come into the office area during the school day, so we think it's just one other line of defense as we go through the process. And those 7 projects are not that big of projects. We're talking about probably less than $1 million for those 7, but it is important to get those entrances reconfigured for those 7 buildings. The projects are a little more extensive are our 4 middle schools and our freshman center. All 5 of those buildings right now, the offices are located a long way from the entry to the building. Our middle school offices, when those buildings were built 15 to 25 years ago during the middle school concept, you wanted to have your offices centrally located. It was a centrist type of a leadership program. Everybody came to the office as the middle part of the area, middle part of the building, excuse me. Today, as you know, with safety and security issues, again, we feel it's important for us to move those offices to the front and center. So it would require about a 5,000 square foot addition to each of the 4 middle schools. That would be 2 middle schools here in Blue Springs, Sunnyvale Middle School that's in Independence, and then Delta Woods Middle School, which is the Lee Summit portion of our district. We move those offices to the front. The old office area would be converted to classrooms where we desperately need space in those buildings anyway. We pick up 4 to 5 classrooms depending on the configuration of those 4 middle schools. The freshman center is the same way. If you've been in that building in a while, you know when you come in that building, the gymnasium's to the left, the cafeteria and several hallways are straight ahead, and then you have to go down a hallway to the right about 50 to 60 feet to run into our office area. We do the same thing. We would move the entrance to that building down about 50 feet. We'd add about 3,000 square feet to the front of that building and bring people through that office area during the school day. We do think these are all important safety issues to add just one line of defense as we go through this process. Other things, the safety and security area, enhanced communication district-wide. One of the things that we learned from Sandy Hook and Columbine the hard way is the cell system got overloaded pretty quickly, and there was really no access to communication inside the building. This would put a hardwired telephone in every classroom in the building. It'd be wired through the internet, so rather than if you've got 5 lines coming into the freshman center, you actually could have every teacher in the building on the phone at the same time because it goes out through the internet over fiber optic cable versus an individual phone line. And again, we have good communication inside the building. Other items, and if I had ever imagined this, it must have been in a nightmare, but never thought we'd be talking about things like bulletproof glassing, additional panic button systems throughout our district. And we're going to be doing about $1 million worth of bulletproof glassing and panic button systems in our district. We have some right now as the panic button systems. We don't have any bulletproof glassing. We'll be adding that. That'll be added in areas that we will not communicate with anybody. There'll be just a handful of people know where those are. As you can imagine, another safety and security issue, our law enforcement people we work with, including Blue Springs Police Department, will tell you that you don't want to give away where your strengths and weaknesses are when you try to breach a building. And so that information will be stored in a pretty safe place, and again, just a handful of people will know where that is. Some other things we're going to do is additional improvements at the Freshman Center. As you know, that's a fairly old building. We're going to enlarge our media center, which is woefully inadequate right now. And then we're currently providing physical science at the Freshman Center as we continue to try to improve the type of programming we offer at the high school level. We're going to start adding biology to our curriculum here in the next 2 years. So we're going to convert some of those physical science labs into bio labs, which requires to bring water and propane and some other things into those labs. This is an area I think that you'll be of interest. We're also going to add 3 multi-purpose rooms, 3 of our elementaries. 2 of those elementaries, James Lewis and James Walker, we've applied for Fema Grants for those to turn those into tornado shelters. That increases the cost about 15% to 18% to do that. But if it's approved by FEMA, we will be able to get 75% of the funding on that. And as you look at that, just want to point out a couple of things. Not only is it a safe room addition for tornadoes, and I'm going to look up here because I don't have my glasses. I can't read that screen right here. So I'm going to look at this screen with you right now. It also will allow for residents and people who are visitors to both of the parks, close to those buildings, to use that as a tornado shelter, even during the day if we need to. We've talked about ways of doing that. Provides additional protection for the entire building. Each building would have a backup generator. We propose about 5,500 square foot addition at those 2 elementaries in order to give us sufficient space to have a tornado shelter. Additional youth programs and adult programs there. We've had a good conversation, our staff with the city, about giving some more time for the city for some of your adult programming. Again, good shelter for our students during the day and on the weekends and evening hours. And again, 75% of that funding would be provided by FEMA if we get those approved. We feel we're in a good place right now with that. This is the first cycle since the Joplin tornado that Joplin has not applied for FEMA funding. As you know, most of the FEMA funding has been going to Joplin in the last year and a half, 2 years. And we feel pretty good where we are. We're one of 5 projects right now being considered, and we're hoping to know sometime here in the next 3 to 5 weeks if we're approved for one or both of those as FEMA funded shelters. Other projects we're going to do, again, if you told me this 5 years ago, I'd said you're crazy, but we did a pilot project this year at Thomas Ultigan. You can see the Thomas Ultigan playground. We're going to add padded turf at around the apparatuses at each of our playgrounds. That's around like the swing sets, the slides, jungle gyms, those things. It is a safety issue. Currently on mulch, as you can imagine, if you're up about 4 to 6 feet and you fall, you have less than a 10% chance of breaking a bone. On padded turf like that, you can be up 10 to 12 feet and have the same 10% chance. So if you're less than 10 feet, the chances of you breaking a bone on the padded turf are pretty slim at that point in time. Also, it's a sanitary issue, a health issue, because you know the mulch, when it gets wet, it tends to mold and mildew. This way we can get rid of all of our mulch areas around that equipment. And then the last thing we'd like to do would be provide, if we have funds available, would be to build a warehouse facility for our maintenance department. Right now, we're woefully inadequate in that area, and we have food service and maintenance sharing 2 warehouses, and we'd like to be able to get maintenance out in their own warehouse on our 40 highway facility, which is the old transportation center. Other than that, that concludes our presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have it this evening.
Great presentation. Are there any questions of Dr. Kinder from council members? Councilman Fowler?
Yes, Your Honor. Dr. Kinder, thanks for coming out here, and thanks for all you do for our school district.
Thank you.
This obviously it's about our students and safety and no tax increase. So those are all positives, and I sense the community will be there to support you on it. These are all capital items relative to safety and security.
Yes.
So that's what the bond issue is about, but I want to ask a safety and security issue that's not really part of your, part of the bond issue.
Sure.
Relative to safety and security, Blue Springs School District is kind of unique in the state of Missouri in that the school district has some authority for security, more of like police-type security.
Yes, we do. That's correct.
Okay. And, since that's went into effect, we have our youth outreach unit, but, when Sandy Hook came through, maybe I wasn't, as an elected official, in touch because the elected officials here for the school district are now have more oversight on that. Can you tell us a little bit about that program, how it's working, and communication
Sure.
with the Blue Springs Police Force and everything?
We have a great relationship with the Blue Springs Police Department. We still have 4 of their officers that work in our building on a weekly basis, a couple on a daily basis. We have 7 of our own Department of Public Safety officers, as you said, our commissioned police officers, because we're the only district in the state that can do that. And that relationship's been going on now for probably 20-plus years at least, Chief. And our board decided after the incident at Sandy Hook that the bond issue was important, but we also wanted to look at where we were from a safety and security standpoint, from a personnel standpoint. We asked Tom Phillips, who's our Director of Public Safety and the former Jackson County Sheriff, to do an assessment of what he thought we needed to have to make our buildings as secure as possible. He came back with a plan that said that 3 additional officers would be great, 4 would be better, and that 6 would be ideal. And our board stepped up in January, separate from the bond issue out of operational funds. They've issued orders for us to employ 6 additional officers. 4 of those actually started 2 weeks ago. They're law enforcement officers. The other 2 will start in July. So we're going to increase our total safety staff in the district from 11 officers to 17 officers to start next school year.
Okay.
So we're very, very pleased with that, and I appreciate the question, because I usually don't talk about during the bond issue because it confuses some people.
Yes.
That it's a separate issue because it comes out of our operational budget.
But
We
it's
have
still
done that.
about public safety, and
Yes,
I
it
know
is.
that there's some questions every now and then, and I say, you know what, the school district has a little bit more of that accountability now than, and so just wanted an idea about how it was going.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Councilman Carter?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, first of all, I'm a satisfied customer of the school district. Thank you for educating 3 of my children. But piggybacking on Councilman Fowler's question, I saw a report out of the corner of my eye on television this morning on Channel 4 about your security officers. I'm curious, you say we're the only district that has that
Yes, that
authority?
has that authority to commission their own police officers.
I'm curious why.
Actually,
Why are we so lucky?
We tried to get that through statewide for several years back, 10, 12 years ago, and had some opposition from various departments across the state, or various people across the state. And then Representative Duesenberg, who was our state rep at one time, got us amended on to a bill at the very end of a session back in 2006, and got that approved at that time for only the Blue Springs School District, and it's pretty narrowly defined because it's based on the city population of Blue Springs and the population of the school district. So it's, right now, there would be no other district in the state that would meet that definition. Now, there is a bill that's been introduced down in Jefferson City to expand that to all districts statewide, and that has had a hearing and probably will be voted on. But right now, we've had the authority for the last 7 years when no one else has had.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, again, we appreciate you taking the time to come and make this presentation tonight, not only to the council staff and those people in the audience, but those people that might be watching on Cable TV 7 as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Okay, next we have a resolution is to waive the fees for the construction and building permit fee.
I'll introduce it, Your Honor.
You don't even have to introduce it.
Don't
All
have
we
to,
need is a
okay.
motion.
I'll make the motion then.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no? Motion carries.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Next, we have introduction and reading of Bill 4251.
Okay, I will introduce that one then.
First reading of Bill Number 4251, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, City of Blue Springs, Missouri, by adding Section 220-296 to make it unlawful to abuse a child.
Move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, not same sign?
Second reading of Bill Number 4251, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, City of Blue Springs, Missouri, by adding Section 220-296 to make it unlawful to abuse a child.
Move the bill be approved on its second reading and assign the appropriate ordinance number.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Levesey?
Aye.
Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Bowerman?
Aye.
Councilman Quabell?
Aye.
Carrying unanimously, giving it ordinance number 4430.
Okay, that brings us to Mural Announcements. There is a candidates forum this Thursday at the Adams Point Conference Center, sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. Lunch, I guess, begins at 11:30. So those that have an opportunity to hear the candidates, as well as, I'm certain, a presentation by the school district, and I think we'll probably have someone talking about the city seeking authorization to join the Tri-County Water Authority as well, from an educational standpoint. I don't see it here, but I know we have March with the Mayor is on the 29th, isn't it? No, the 12th. Well, we moved it to next month. Okay. So I got some more time to practice my walk. Okay, good. Well, that's all I'm going to do on mayoral announcements. I'm going to go to Thoughts to Ponder. Tonight is a very short one. It's from Abraham Lincoln. And I quote, "Whatever you are, be a good one," end quote. Don't have any visitors' appearance forms, so are we going into executive session? Okay. Okay, we'll accept a motion to go into executive session. to
So
discuss
moved.
real estate. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
A roll call, please.
Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Bowerman?
Aye.
Councilman Quabell?
Aye.
Councilman Levesey?
Aye.
Okay, we'll take a 2 or 3 minute break to allow our visitors to be excused, and then we will go into executive session.
I will plan on attending that.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
So.
We'll give that to